Hi everyone, welcome to the Ask Dr. Khan show. I'm Dr. Peter Khan, functional medicine doctor, and on this show, you're just one whiteboard away from solving your health puzzle. Now, today I want to talk about the top 5 things that you can do to support your immune system. Whether you have autoimmune disease, whether you have chronic inflammatory issues, whether you're concerned about your immune function, whether it's going to be able to fight off infections, the top 5 things that you need to pay attention to are critical. These are the foundation pieces for building not just your immune system, but your overall health. Okay, so let's talk about the 5 things here, and I'm going to, in my usual fashion, draw for you. All right, so the top 5 things. Top 5 things to improve immune. Now, a lot of people think that top 5 things to improve immune function is going to be some supplements. It's going to be like, vitamin C and zinc. That's a different video for a different topic, okay? But really, the things that you do to improve immune function is not really a supplement. It's not a product, right? It's really the thought process. It's these priorities that you want to address in your body. So I'm going to speak in terms of that. Okay, so let's talk about the top 5 things. Number 1 thing that you want to do to improve your immune function is actually oxygen. And you might be like, what? Well, oxygenation determines your fuel delivery. If you don't have oxygen, you cannot deliver fuel. You cannot deliver nutrient. You cannot deliver or remove waste product. You need oxygen to actually make energy, okay? So the way it works is that oxygen can come in the form of circulation, okay? So if you have poor circulation, let me erase this. Okay, poor circulation can cause oxygenation problems. So do you have cold hands and cold feet? Do you get hair loss? Do you have fungal toenails? These are all signs of poor circulation. And you need to address that because if you have poor circulation, your immune system is not going to be functioning properly. Another thing that we look for is low blood pressure. If you have low blood pressure, that means you can't perfuse your tissue. Poor perfusion means poor fuel delivery. And also, you cannot make energy. And remember, immune function is a very metabolically expensive task. For you to fight an infection, for your immune system to work, it takes energy. So if you have low blood pressure, you cannot deliver fuel, then you may be compromised. Another thing we look at, oxygenation, is do you have anemia? Now, there's many different types of anemia. Not all anemias associated with iron deficiency. You may have a B12 deficiency anemia or folic acid deficiency anemia or any other number of different types of anemia. So we have to look at anemia, which means that you have decreased ability of your red blood cell to carry oxygen. So if you cannot carry oxygen, your immune system is going to be compromised. Okay, so that's number 1. So a lot of time when people go to the doctor, they say, oh, I don't feel good, I'm tired. But doctor failed to look at read their CBC panel completely to rule out anemia, or the doctor failed to point out a low blood pressure situation. So how much blood pressure? What's the normal blood pressure? Normal blood pressure is 120/80. What is considered low? If your blood pressure is like 100/70, I consider that to be low blood pressure. It's not so low where you're going to pass out, but it's certainly not high enough or not healthy enough for you to feel great. So this low blood pressure shows up a lot. So here's a tip for you. Next time you go to the doctor, you go to your medical doctor office, primary care, they do the routine blood pressure, ask them, hey, what's my number? And actually write it down. And if they say, oh, your blood pressure is so good, don't take their word for it. Tell me what the number is. Because if they say good, it may mean that, oh, your blood pressure is so low, it's so good, you don't have high blood pressure. Well, just because your blood pressure is low doesn't mean it's good. Because it could be too low, right? So they make it like, oh, high blood pressure is bad, so lower the blood pressure is better. Well, not necessarily so, because if lower the blood pressure is better, what's the lowest number you can have for blood pressure? The lowest possible number is 0. Is 0 good? No. If you have 0 blood pressure, it means you're dead. So obviously low blood pressure is not good. So you have to ask for the number. So next time you go to the doctor's office, ask, what is my blood pressure measurement? Don't just take their word for it like, oh, it's good. What does that mean? Okay, so that's important. The second thing you want to do to improve immune function is you want to make sure your blood sugar is stable. Why is that important? You know, one of the risk factor for people to get COVID and to die from COVID is diabetes. So why is diabetes bad? Because when you have high blood sugar, it equals an inflammatory disease. High blood sugar is inflammation. That's why diabetes is probably one of the worst things you can have. Okay, if you have high blood sugar, it's the most inflammatory, most damaging for your entire body, including your immune system. So stabilizing your blood sugar is important. And if you have high blood sugar, that's diabetes. But if you have low blood sugar, that's just as bad. Hypoglycemia means that you don't have enough fuel. You don't have enough glucose in your bloodstream to support proper energy production. If you can't make energy, your immune function is going to be compromised. Okay? Number 3 is gut health. Now, gut health is a really large topic. When people say gut health, they kind of just think, well, my tummy doesn't hurt, so my gut health is good. Not necessarily. When we're talking about gut health, we're really talking about absorption, right? You are not just what you eat, you are also what you absorb, right? And you are more than just what you absorb, folks. You are also what you don't eliminate. So if you're constipated, you're not having regular bowel movement, you don't eliminate the junk from your body, you also are not going to be having a good health. So a lot of people just think it's about what you eat. I'm going to tell you, you got to take it a step further. It's also about what you absorb. And then you got to take it a step further. It's also what does your body eliminate, okay? So your health is determined by your gut health. So this has to do with absorption. So if you have gas, bloating, if you have reflux, heartburn, that means you're not absorbing things right. You got to fix that to have proper gut health. The other side of that is leaky gut. Leaky gut is a condition where you have this double whammy of malabsorption and inflammation. And the pattern that we see in people with leaky gut frequently is low secretory IgA. Low SIgA is a risk factor for low immune function because this IgA immunoglobulin is your first line of defense in your gut. So if you have low secretory IgA, that means you don't have enough immune cells within your gut lining to protect you. And for your immune function to work, you have to have normal amount of SIgA. So this relates to leaky gut, and that's why number 3 is your gut health. Okay. Now a lot of people talk about the microbiome also. Certainly the gut bacteria is also a very important aspect of your health, but that's kind of all encompassing. Leaky gut, low SIgA, and microbiome health is all related. So with clients who work with us on a one-on-one basis where we do virtual consultation, we run functional medicine lab, we figure all the stuff out for you. So you don't have to guess what your health is doing. The problem is when you go to Western medical providers, your medical doctor simply is looking for a disease. Do you have a disease? Do you not have a disease? Here's a drug for that disease. They're not really looking at the underlying root cause of that disease. So it's really important for you to establish a solid baseline of all the different aspects of your health, like your oxygen level, like the blood sugar, like your gut health. So you know where you stand, and so you know what to shoot for. This is how you make anyone healthy. See, it's not about treating a disease, folks. What we do here at Hope Integrative Wellness is that we're helping you identify the root cause and having a baseline so you are progressively, proactively working toward better health instead of just trying to decrease the disease, right? So it's kind of like with money. You're not looking to become less poor, you're trying to become more rich, right? Because to become richer, you do certain things. But just to become less poor or to not become bankrupt, that's a different thing, right? To grow wealth and to become wealthy, that's a different set of action and mindset compared to just trying to not become bankrupt. You do two different things. Same thing with your health. To become healthier, you'll be doing a set of different things than just simply to not become sick. It's a completely different. In the Western allopathic medical model, they're just trying to help you to not become sick. They don't even do that very good. They're just trying to treat the sickness once you already have it. It'd be like somebody's already bankrupt, then you teach them how to not become bankrupt. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Health is different, and that's what we do. We want to make you healthier and healthier, but the only way you do that is by measuring these things. That's why it's very helpful to have a consult with us so we can run these tests for you. Okay. Number 4 thing that you can do to improve your health is inflammation. Now, inflammation is expressed in many different ways in the body. Okay, there are various markers that tracks inflammation. Things like C-reactive protein, homocysteine, ferritin, which is a acute phase reactant, fibrinogen levels. So there's a lot of different ways to look at inflammation, and you have to measure all of them to get a good overall picture of your inflammation level. The reason that's important is because inflammation tends to suppress immune function, especially the natural killer cells. The immune cell that help you get rid of infection. So if you're inflamed, you're less likely to be able to get rid of infection. Now, for people with autoimmune disease, you're constantly inflamed. And your goal is to reduce inflammation and put your autoimmune into remission. But the nature of the autoimmune disease is that it's an inflammatory disease. So if you're autoimmune, you're already inflamed. And the more inflamed you are, the more autoimmune you become. So it becomes a vicious cycle. So taming inflammation is a big deal when it comes to improving immune function, especially for those with autoimmune disease. Okay? And the number 5 thing that you got to do to improve your immune function is look for underlying infections, because that can sap your immune function as well. Okay? If you have a chronic virus like Epstein-Barr virus or herpes simplex virus, those things can reactivate themselves. And then as they reactivate, it takes a toll on your immune system. So we usually will see people with chronic low white blood cell count, chronic low adrenal function, low blood pressure, low blood sugar, which are the things that we talked about earlier, the top 2 things that we need to do. A lot of times the low blood pressure and low blood sugar is a consequence of low adrenal function, which is very often caused by a chronic viral infection. Now, certainly, infection like chronic gut dysbiosis, like gut infection, very common. People have like some kind of bacteria where too much bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria. That can create problem in the gut and trigger gut inflammation, which is the top number 4 things that you can do to improve your health. So the infection can cause inflammation, which can suppress your immune function, right? So this is all kind of linked together, but these will be the top 5 things. Now, what about toxins and heavy metals and chemicals and stress and lack of exercise and lack of sun exposure and vitamin D deficiency? Yes, all those things are important as well. But I would say the solution to health is not necessarily in a bottle. The solution to your health is not necessarily a pill, although some supplements can be very helpful. If you're vitamin D deficient, yes, taking vitamin D will be one of the ways that you can improve your immune health. But I'm going to tell you that improving your health is more of a way of thinking. It's how do you go about it, right? It's not about a pill. The solution is about how you think about your health, kind of like the analogy that I used earlier. What you do to get wealthy is not the same as what you do to prevent a bankruptcy. It's kind of different, right? Medicine is about they don't even prevent you from getting sick. They're just managing the disease after you already have it. You've got to do better than that if you want to do better, right? Like for someone to get an A in class, to be an A student, that's not the same as just getting somebody to barely pass and not fail. Medicine is about, okay, once you fail the class, what can we do to get you back to a D or a C? Health, in my definition, is how do we get you from a C to a B to an A and ever increasing. So that's a very good position to work from. And if you're interested in that, I invite you to schedule a 15-minute discovery call with us so that we can help you identify these root causes and also set up a very good solid baseline. We'll work with you virtually. We've been doing this for several years, so we're not new to the game. In fact, we have one of the most advanced and the busiest functional medicine office in the country working virtually. So certainly take me up on the offer, schedule a 15-minute call to talk to my team to learn whether our program can help you. In the meantime, please share this video. If you feel like this top 5 things to improve your immune health makes sense to you, please share, because it's more about our way of thinking, right? It's about knowledge rather than just a pill. So please share this video. Please like this video. You can find me on YouTube at Dr. Peter Khan or Peter Khan DC on YouTube. And you can find me on Facebook and Hope Integrative Wellness. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as like the Facebook page so you can get notified On YouTube, please click the bell button so anytime when I put out a new video, when I stream live, you can get notified so you can get this information hot off the press. So again, please give us a call at 480-988-6269 if you have any questions, if you'd like to become a client and schedule a consultation. I look forward to seeing you next week at the Ask Dr. Khan show. By the way, I want to send a shout out to some of my folks who are watching. I really appreciate you. Delia, thank you so much for watching. Diane, thank you so much for joining me. Please share this video. And we have Mac. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. And again, we'll see you next week at the Ask Dr. Khan show. Talk soon.